What's up, Game Boys and Girls? Big T here, back with another video, and I said I would be more consistent, and here I am being consistent with these videos. This video is entitled, I'm not sure what I'm titling it, but it's about repros and how crazy, and I mean crazy out of hand repros have gotten to the point where you just can't tell anymore unless you're like really, into the whole retro gaming and stuff. But some of them you just can't tell by looking at them, just to the naked eye. So I got some stuff here we're going to look at and just kind of go over how crazy it is these days in these gaming streets for retro gaming and home brews and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, just want to show this nice little cart here. This is called the Glare. Oh gosh, the lighting, the light on it. It's very, there we go. This is the Summer Cart 64, it's called. This is basically like a, what are they called? Those carts that allow you to like just download and play a bunch of stuff on. I can't think of the name of them right now. But this is kind of the best. It's because it's, to me it is. The price is great. You can get it on, I think it's Play Asia or AliExpress, one of the two I got it from, and this was $50 and it's really cool. You can see it's kind of semi-transparent. You can see the battery in there, and that's where your SD card goes right there in that little slot. So it's a mini SD. And so speaking of repros and whatnot, they can be expensive, not as expensive as the real thing, but they can also be expensive. So this is a way to just play the games if you want to play the games, and not only that, but also like home brews and ROM hacks and stuff like that. This is good for that as well. Summer Cart, what are they called? Why can't I remember the name of them? There's other models out there. Evercarts. So there's Evercarts for pretty much every cartridge based system that was somewhat popular. Going back to, like, I don't know if NES has Evercarts. Yeah, they do. But they're not like ones you can actually add stuff to. They just have all the games onto one cart. But, they have Evercarts for, I believe, Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. I'm not sure. Yeah, they have to have them because I've seen something similar. And then N64 is like what everybody knows. The EverDrive N64 is the most popular one. And that is basically a replacement for that, because those things are like $150, $200. They can be really expensive. So, but yeah, let's get into this. First, I'm going to start with not repros, but this one game specifically is not a repro. This is basically a homebrew. Somebody made a game, a new game for the N64, and there's a few of them out there. I should have looked the guy's name up ahead of time, but I'm sure you can find him just by looking up the game. So this game is called Telecation Gemini, and this is like a... You focus? I'm not going to focus, are you? Because I'm in focus. There you go. Telecation Gemini, and this is like a puzzle platformer for the N64. This is a new game. I believe it's on other systems as well, but it kind of loses its charm if it's not played on the N64, at least as far as I'm concerned. And it's a puzzle-based platforming game, and it's really, really addictive. I think it was made by one person. It's one of those games that were made by one person. Telecation Gemini is really cool, and that you can see on the cover there is the big robot, and yourself. You're the little blue guy, the blue-headed guy, and you just, you're navigating all these platforms, and you're going to be using the robot to collect I think there's like green crystals or whatever, like 3 green crystals per stage, and they get increasingly hard to get to, and you just gotta, they're brain teasers, it picks your brain, along with puzzle platforming. So very cool there. And yeah, these are definitely reproductions, and they're really cool because they're English. These are English versions of games that are only in Japanese for the N64, and this one is Shiren 2, Sharon the Wanderer. This series goes back to, I believe, the maybe NES, definitely Super Nintendo, right? I think so. I could be wrong, but I think they were only in in the Japan region. And these are like kind of dungeony action adventure games where you go to different. I guess there are RPG elements as well, but you play as character Shirin, and it's a typical kind of hero story. And you have all these abilities, and you gain. Yeah, you definitely gain. Like not hit points. You definitely level up. So there's some amount. There's a amount of RPG in there, and this series goes on until what, PS4 I think even has a sharing game. There's so many of them. I don't know if they're just kind of remakes or remasters of them or whatnot, but yeah, it's a series. Here's another series that goes back to the Super Nintendo. This is Wonder Project J2. Wonder Project is on the Super Nintendo. Again, it's only Japanese and the Super Famicom as far as I remember. And this is the sequel to it. Also only in Japanese where it came out, but this is a English fan translation. Just like Sharon was. Sharon was only in Japanese for the N64, but this is an English fan translation, so you can play the entire game in its entirety in English if you can't speak Japanese. That comes in handy. And here's another, I guess you would call it homebrew. No, this is not a homebrew. Actually, this is a unreleased game that I don't know if the fans finished it up or if it was complete. I feel like it was complete as far as you can play the game all the way through without any kind of crashes, major glitches or anything. And this is Viewpoint 2064. This is a Star Fox type of game, Star Fox light game where you play. You're basically a pilot in this spaceship, and it's very kind of on rails. It's kind of like Star Fox is. It's not as good as Star Fox, but it reminds me of that. And I believe the game is completely finished, and they just never released it. I think it just came out too late. They didn't think it would do well. Obviously, cartridges are expensive, so they didn't want to pay for the cartridge production fees, and that's what kind of happened. Now we're going to get into the repros. We might bounce back for a couple of things here and there, but I'm a huge fan of Mischief Makers. It's one of my favorite games on the N64. This is not only about N64, by the way. I'm just kind of getting the N64 stuff out of the way. There is more N64 in here, but there's other stuff too, other consoles. So Mischief Makers is one of my favorite games on the N64. I bought the game. I don't know what happened to the original box, but this is a reproduction box, and it looks fantastic. Actually, no. This is... I thought this was a repro box. I don't think it is. No, it's not. The box. Okay, so this is part of the box. That's what's going on here, because that's why you can see the wear on it. As you can see on the side there, it says Smash Brothers. But I have the front, top, and back of the box. I don't know, it got ruined. You can see there Smash Brothers. So this is the original cover for Mischief Makers. It's just not a complete box. It got ruined. So parts of it are missing. And so I put it around this Smash Bros. This is a repro box, Smash Bros. But I already have it. And so I just put this over it to kind of form the shape of the box that it's supposed to be. But yeah, this is the actual Mischief Makers. And if you can see the price, I don't know if you can. I'll try to get in there where you can see it. See, it's trying to... There you go, $64.99. So the Nintendo 64 games cost $64 or $65 technically. Just depending on the game, the size of the ROMs. If it needed bigger ROM chips in it, they cost more. But yeah, So that wasn't a repro. I thought all this time I was thinking it was a repro, but it's not. It's just a partial box that's wrapping around a repro box that I don't use anymore. But here we go. This is a repro, and this is a Kojima game. I believe this is Hideo Kojima, one of his earlier games. This is Police Knots. As you can see, this is the Japanese style box or case. This is a repro, but for this particular game, it only came out in Japan. Police Knots only came out in Japan, but this is a again translated fan version of the game, and you'll be able to see in here. As you can see there, that is a repro disc. You can kind of tell if you look at the edging of it. You can see it's kind of white because basically the print didn't cover the entire disc, so there's white edges on it. If you can't see it as good as you need to tell, you can just look at it and tell it's not. This one particular is not like great, but all I care about is being able to play the game in English. So this is a really cool, and it's a nice case, a really nice case. I think the case actually has English wording on it, so it just has like the Japanese traditional Sega Saturn Japanese cover. Here's, I guess I just bought this game twice, and this one, I think this is the reason I bought it twice, because this is terrible. Now, don't pay no attention to the big crack and all that, because I put this in an old case, and I used the previous case for something else. So the crack is not why. It came in a good case, but the artwork, as you can tell, this is supposed to be like black. That the surrounding this stuff here, but it's like brownish because the print is so bad, and that's one of the reasons I bought another repro on it, because the print is really bad on this. It's kind of hard to see, but that's not the example. We're getting to the examples of really good repros, and this is one of them, I think. Or not repro. Yeah, repro. This is Metroid Zero Mission, which we all know is a Game Boy Advance game, but this is in a DS style case, which I really like, because one of the things I don't like about a lot of times when it comes to N64 or Nintendo games, period, up until like the GameCube, everything came in a cardboard box, and cardboard boxes are hard to maintain. So I like the fact that the repros for Game Boy Advance comes in basically Nintendo DS cases. But if you know anything about the DS case, this is a repro case, obviously, but the DS case came with a slot for GBA games. So that's what makes it cool. I have a bunch of just DS cases, the box, which I'm going to be, getting the cover, the artwork reproed for a lot of my Game Boy Advance games. Don't have a cover. They don't have a box, because I couldn't keep up with boxes. They got ruined. A lot of my boxes got ruined. I'll tell you the story before, but I should show you the game itself. Duh. I really like this repro of the game. Comes in this nice blue. It's trying to focus on me and not the game, so it's not going to do it because of the lighting and all that. There you go. For a half a second it does, but I like the fact that it's again got the transparent blue look. And I get to put it in a hard case that's going to last. And it's really good. The artwork on it is actually really nice and clean. Very good. Very good repro there. And here we go with another game. This is Panzer Dragoon RPG, or Panzer Dragoon Azel, or Panzer Dragoon Saga. This is the third Panzer Dragoon game, which was very different for the first two, which were on-rail shooters. Where you ride the back of a dragon and you blast like Star Fox like. But this I did buy the original Japanese version because I love the artwork. As you can see here, there's the manual itself. Really cool artwork through this series. It has a really nice artwork. So I ended up buying the original Japanese version, but obviously I can't play it. I bought it because I like the artwork. But if you look in here, what you will see is the lighting is awful. This is this is not Repro, but what you'll see later is this is the PAL version, which I got for a decent price. I mean, it's also still expensive, but when I bought it, it I paid under five. I'll just say I paid under $500 for it. For the PAL version, I think it was under 400 actually, and it was disc only, so it was cool that I could use the original Japanese case for this. And this was some years ago, maybe 7 years ago, and it was cool to be able to have that. Disc one is actually in the Saturn because I've been playing it, but I'll show you later on a repro that destroys repros that I've ever seen. This is really cool. So you guys probably already know about this game here, Cubivore, for the GameCube. It's kind of rare. Actually, it's pretty rare, actually. And I have the complete game. It's got a little void sticker on there. I think it probably was a rental copy. And at some point, I will clean off the void there. But yeah, it's complete. So this game, I think, runs you like $600, something stupid now. I didn't pay anywhere near that. I paid $80, I think, for it at the time, which I thought was high, but good thing I did because it's crazy now. But this is a N64 game. This game was ported from the N64. And I remember, I pretty much remember seeing it in magazines. I don't know if it was Nintendo Power or not, but previews for it. And I was like, man, it would be really cool to play that game on the N64, original game on the N64. Well, you can do that now. Check this out. Cubivore for your N64. Now, I think this is one of the games that did come out in Japan. Cubivore. And then when they wanted to put it out in North America, they actually ported it to the GameCube so we can get the English version. So that's why we have the GameCube version, although it's still super rare. But now you can just buy this and play it on the original hardware it was intended to be played on. And you look at the graphics, you can tell that this is supposed to be an N64 game. It's really quirky. It's like a puzzle. It's a weird game. It's hard to explain, but it's really cool. And now I can just play the original N64 version and keep my stupid expensive GameCube version away so it won't get ruined. But this is awesome. Like, this is the English. So I guess they took the English text from the North American GameCube version and translated it over for the N64 Japanese version, made a card out of it, and gave us this. Man, these fans today are insane at what they can do. Now, this is a similar situation. You guys all know of Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. But if you know about it, you know that it wasn't originally that. This was Dinosaur Planet. It was the game I was really waiting for the N64, Dinosaur Planet from Rare. They had pretty much done Nintendo-like games, and every time they were really good. They did a Mario 64 type of game, and they called Banjo-Kazooie. Fantastic. They did their version of Mario Kart with Diddy Kong Racing, which was also fantastic. And I guess you can even throw Donkey Kong 64 in there, which I thought at the time was a really good game. It's a little long in the tooth with some of the collecting, but still a really good game. And obviously Rare just was knocking it out of the box when they tried to make Nintendo-like games. And this was going to be, or this is, their Zelda. Dinosaur Planet is their Zelda. And I was really excited to see Rare's take on a Zelda adventure type of game. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is amazing. This is Rare's Zelda game, and I can't wait to play it. And we know the story behind it. Miyamoto saw the little fox character and said, you should make that maybe Star Fox, because that's a IP that a lot of people know. It'll probably help the game sell better, get more recognition. We'll make it a game for the GameCube, our next system, and that's what happened. But a couple years ago, the original Dinosaur Planet leaked, or somebody bought it, or bought some old ROM carts and discovered it. and it got leaked onto the internet, and it was pretty much 60%, maybe 70% at the time, complete. So fans went in and fixed it. I think Fox was the model, the character model. So they had already moved on from, I can't remember the Fox's name in the original game. It's not on here. They had already moved on from that. And so this version had Fox as the main character, but they put the original guy back in. They put the original Fox character back in. They fixed it and made it to where you can play the game all the way through. This is, I believe, the latest version. So this doesn't have, the earlier versions had Star Fox running around, but this has, I can't remember his name. The fox from the Rare's fox. I think he was a wolf. Was he a wolf? Was it Saber? I think it was Saber. Saber the wolf, and they turned it into Star Fox. But yeah, this is a pretty close to finished version. I would say this is probably an 80% build. There's still some issues with it because the game, again, the fans were the ones who went in and fixed this. It's freaking amazing. Here's another GameCube game, Animal Crossing, aka Animal Forest, that was supposed to come out in North America for the N64. It did come out in Japan as Animal Forest, but we never got it here. We had to wait until the GameCube to get an English version of it, and here it is. This is the original. Is this complete? I don't think it's complete, but I do have the disc and the memory card that came with it, because you needed a memory card just for this game, and so it came with this, at least early copies. I don't know if it came with all of them, but yeah, Animal Crossing. Well, some fans said, hey, we got the English for the game now that the GameCube version's out, so let's go back and make it an N64 game with the English on it, and there you go, Animal Crossing. I think you can actually get a version that has Animal Forest on it, but I wanted to be able to use my my end label, and there's I think there are end labels that actually have Animal Forest too, so that's not, I just like the Animal Crossing. Everybody knows it as Animal Crossing here, so I like that better. But be able to play with the N64 graphics, that's what you get on here. You get higher res N64 graphics on the GameCube version, but be able to play it and it's blurry N64 visual style. It works better on the N64. And to be able to have that is freaking amazing. Now here's a little kind of a sidestep here. This is a Legend of Oasis for Sega Saturn. This game isn't like super expensive. It's complete. I think it's like 130 to 150, 125, somewhere around there. But I never had a complete version. It looks like it, but as you can see, I don't have the back art. I don't have the binding art or whatnot. This is original. This is the original manual. In case you didn't know, the cover art for Sega Saturn games, just like PlayStation, is the manual. That's the manual in there. That's the original game. But I don't have the cover art, the back art. So I'm going to purchase. I'm not gonna try to get the original. I'm just gonna purchase a repro of this case, just the artwork. I don't have to purchase. And I saw really good quality. I think it's Etsy. Etsy got some really good stuff, man. So I'll just get the artwork, the back art, and call it a day. And I'll have a semi-complete version, but at least I'll be able to realize what it is when I look at it on the shelf. I'll know what the game is. I mean, I know because of how it looks, but I'll be able to actually know what the game is. Now, this I think I showed before. This is a case for Panzer Dragoon. This is a limited run. This came with Panzer Dragoon, the remake. If you bought the special edition, limited edition, whatever, this is one of the perks. And you get a full-size, real Sega Saturn case, which I never had one. Again, I only had Panzer Dragoon loose, and so I only had a loose copy of it. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. This is incentive for me to get this. I only bought the case separately. I bought it separately on eBay, and because somebody was just selling they kind of opened it up and was just selling the special edition in pieces. And so I bought this for super cheap. I think it was like $15 or something. And now I have a nice case, semi, which almost feels authentic because it is, licensed by Sega. And so I just took my original Sega Saturn game, because this is a real Sega Saturn case, basically, and threw it in there. So now I have a nice case for my original Panzer Dragoon game. Fantastic series, by the way. Panzer Dragoon 2, Zwei, I think how you say it. And then Panzer Dragoon Saga, Panzer Dragoon 3, or Azel, as it's in Japan. It's called Panzer Dragoon Azel. And it's one of the greatest RPGs of that era, of the mid-90s. Often overlooked because of the Sega Saturn didn't sell great. So, but I think it's better than Final Fantasy VII, which gets way more praise. And so now we're going to go back, since we were talking about Panzer Dragoon. Let's go back to Panzer Dragoon. This is Repro. This is a Repro case and game I bought. Funny thing is, the game that came with this has some weird splotchiness to it. You know how if you play a Super or a Nintendo game, right? A Nintendo NES game, and maybe you didn't blow it great, or you didn't push it down well enough. Sometimes the letters is gibberish and it's flickery looking. That's how, for whatever reasons, the disc of this game came out. I don't think I have it in here. Maybe I do. But luckily enough, I already had the PAL version of the game. But yeah, these are I'm going to show you these. So this is all Repro. This looks freaking authentic to me. This is amazing. Look at that. That looks crazy. Crazy good. The print work is amazing on this. But these games, I noticed when I use the game, but I got to show you these discs, because these discs look really good. They look almost original. The quality on the print on these discs is insane. I'm trying to pull this out here. Look at that. Look at that. Now, once you look at the back, you know it's just a CDR. But the sticker, the quality, the print work on here is stupid good. But there's something off with the burn of these games, because like I said, the wording, a lot of the wording, you can't read it. So luckily, I have the original PAL version, and so I just use that. And this is just kind of a visual piece that looks like the original game. It's not one of the, but it also comes in this protective case, so I can keep it in that, so the case itself doesn't get scratched, which I like. Yeah. Down to the last two games, I believe, here. This is one of my favorite Repros. Now, I have the original Japanese version of the game, but I saw the artwork, and I'm like, this looks so much better. If you've seen the Japanese version, it's just kind of a black background with the wording for Sin and Punishment. Like, it's all black, mostly, and then there's, like, green wording for Sin and Punishment there. But I saw this, and I was like, oh, I gotta have that. And this version is in English. This is like an English translation version, which you don't really need if you know anything about Sin and Punishment. It was basically about to be released in North America because it was already all translated. It has English audio. It has English dialogue, speaking dialogue, like the English voice acting. And yeah, so the game was already there. But this is a beautiful repro game and box. The artwork. Now this is made to look like the original Japanese box, which they were vertical. If you don't know anything about the Japanese N64 boxes, they were all vertical. So they, instead of being, like this, like you can see my copy of Zelda 64 there, Ocarina of Time, it's a horizontal kind of feel, but all Japanese boxes were the long way, like this. And it's fantastic. But I do have the original, can't see it from here, but it's on the shelf back there, the actual real Japanese version of the game. And this is my last one I'm going to show. Yeah, it's the last one I'm showing. Another Sega Saturn game, Repro. And it just looks amazing. Amazing. Now, if you know anything about this game, did come out. Symphony of the Night did come out for the Sega Saturn, but it was, I think it's called like Castlevania Dracula X or something for the Japanese version. And so it's a little worse, like as far as performance. Some tiny little issues over the PlayStation 1 version. But still a really cool version of the game. But somehow, this is fan translated. I think this is Dracula X, but it's just fans translated. And it's the Sega Saturn version, the Japanese version, I think. But with English words where it didn't have that before. Because the Saturn version didn't have the English version of it. But this case is crazy good quality. Look at that. And this is a full manual, and just like the other one was a full manual. And look at that game. Look at that disc. That's crazy good. Crazy good. Like I said, this is a repro. I don't know what the PlayStation 1 disc looks like. I don't know if it looks like that or not, but this is fantastic. So for Sega Saturn heads like myself, you'd be like, oh, why don't you just play the PlayStation version? It's just, these stuff like this is cool to me, to be able to play the Sega Saturn version of these types of games. The games that did come out on both systems. Maybe only came out in Japan on the Saturn, but fantastic. So yeah, man, these repros, actually, let me put this back in my scratch safety case. These repros are getting out of hand. They're already out of hand. I've seen so much stuff on Etsy in particular that's mind-boggling. Like, so really good. And it's crazy. It's crazy how good these repros look. I don't have a ton. Like, you've seen most of them. I think this is probably 80% the repros I have. Oh, I have another one here, actually. I forgot about this. This is Terra Enigma for the Super Nintendo. That's the box for it there. And, excuse me, Mario. The game is actually right here as well. Super Nintendo cart. If you know anything about this game, it is stupid expensive for the Western version, as far as I know. All Western versions of them is expensive. But hey, I just want to play a game. And there it is. It looks like a Super Nintendo cart to me. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of purist about repros or whatnot. If you're trying to pass your repro off as an original, that's scummy. Like, I don't like that. And some people just don't want them in the market just because of that. Because they can be, people can try to sell them for actually originals and try to get original prices out of people. But they're pretty easy to spot. Like, I can look at this board just by looking at it from here and tell this is not an original board. I don't even have to open this. I can tell just by looking at it that this is not a authentic Super Nintendo board. They have a kind of dark brownish kind of look to the board itself, and this is very light, almost white. circuit board. So you can tell just by that alone. Sometimes you can tell just by the labeling. You can tell the labeling on there. You can't see it as good as I can, but just looking at the labeling, you can tell that that's not original. Especially the color of that back label is pretty off. But for me, again, I just want something I can have a nice display on. I'm not trying to pretend this is the original game. I wouldn't try to sell it as if it's the original game. It is not. And so I understand people not liking that, because I don't think that's, ethical to do. And but I think repros are cool if you just want to play the game and have a nice physical copy, a physical thing, because people like physical copies of stuff. So I like repros for that. But yeah, that's my video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you mind repros? Some people, like I said, don't like them at all. They don't want them in the market. Or are you like me, where it's like, if it's just for me, I just want to have something cool to display. I don't want to spend 10 billion gazillion dollars, on the original. Then I don't have to do that. And this is an original, actually. And I want it to replace mine, because I did have the original collector's edition. If you know anything about the collector's edition, it has this cool foil cover. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but that's like a foil cover. It's not just cardboard for the collector edition, and that's why I wanted to replace mine, because I love that foil, and you can see it better there. It's all shiny. But yeah, I just like to have the physical versions of stuff. All these games are original. My Alundra, Xenogears, Thousand Arms. Actually, I think Thousand Arms case is a repro. I think so. And the game itself, obviously, not obviously, but the game itself, these are the original games. So that's another thing. Like if I want a repro case to put maybe I have a loose copy of a game because I didn't want to, I lost the original case, or I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg to get a complete version of the game, and I'll just get I believe this is, it looks like this is repro, but it's so good. Again, it's very good. It's hard to tell. I can only tell because I'm the one who bought it, but if you peel out the paper, you can tell that it's not like the perfect print. But yeah, if you stuck around to this video for this long, it means you like what you see. Go ahead and subscribe, folks. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to let me know you enjoy this content and you want more. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about repros, and if you have repros in your collection, if you don't mind, let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching and listening, and now see you fools next time. Peace out.
Mm-hmm.